modern world is built upon a quiet, relentless, and exhausting tyranny. The tyranny of the perfect. We worship the new, the flawless, the factory-sealed, the untouched. An object's value is often measured by its lack of history, its freedom from any mark, scratch, or scar. A smartphone with a single crack in its glass screen is deemed lesser, its perfection irredeemably spoiled. A favorite piece of clothing with a small tear is hidden away in the back of the closet, and a ceramic tea bowl, a vessel of warmth and communion that shatters on the floor, is, for most, simply trash. Its story, we believe, is over. In this world, breakage is a final, shameful end. It is a failure, but in a small, quiet corner of Japanese philosophy, in a tradition born from centuries of mindfulness and respect for the passage of time, there exists a more compassionate, a more profound perspective. A worldview that does not turn away from the broken, but leans in closer to examine it. It is a philosophy that does not hide damage, but illuminates it, transforming the very act of destruction into the most beautiful part of an object's story. This is the art of Kintsugi. Its name translates literally to golden joinery, but its meaning is far deeper. It is a quiet, profound rebellion against the arrogant cult of the new and the lazy convenience of the disposable. It is a gentle, patient meditation on the nature of resilience, the beauty of healing, and the stories that can only be told by things that have been broken. In a small, dusty, sunlit workshop on a quiet side street in the ancient city of Kyoto, surrounded by the beautiful, silent ghosts of broken treasures, lives an old man named Kenji. He is not a potter, for he creates nothing new from clay. He is not a painter, though he uses the finest, most delicate of brushes. Kenji is a master of Kintsugi. He is, in a sense, a doctor for wounded objects, a surgeon for the shattered. People from all over the country, and sometimes from all over the world, make a quiet pilgrimage to his door. They bring him their most cherished objects, wrapped in soft cloth, as one might carry a wounded bird. A grandmother's favorite tea bowl, its familiar weight, now a handful of sharp fragments. A wedding gift from a loved one, now long gone. A porcelain vase that held a lifetime of memories. They bring him pieces, and they bring him their despair. Kenji, in his quiet way, offers them a difficult, time-consuming but beautiful hope. His face is like one of his own creations, a network of fine lines and wrinkles, each one a map of his own long life, a testament to his own joys and his own breakages. He moves with a slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial grace, each action born of a lifetime of focused practice and deep respect for the objects in his care. He understands that his work is not merely about repair. It is about resurrection. It is about honoring the entire journey of an object, its creation, its life, its fall, and its beautiful, improbable rebirth. Our story begins, as it must, with a tragedy. A beautiful, handmade ceramic tea bowl, its glaze the color of a pale winter sky, slips from a hand. For a single, breathless, suspended moment, it hangs in the air. A perfect, silent form. The world seems to slow down. Then it meets the hard, unforgiving floor. The sound of its breaking is not a dull crash, but a sharp, percussive, heartbreaking report that shatters the silence of the room. It is a sound of finality, an exclamation point at the end of a life. A moment of shared, sharp intake of breath is followed by a quiet, heavy sadness for what has been lost. The bowl, once a perfect vessel of warmth and communion, a circle of shared moments, is now just a collection of sharp, useless fragments. Its purpose is gone. Its story, it would seem, is definitively over. It lies on the floor in a geography of its own demise. But for the master of Kintsugi, this violent moment of breakage is not an end. It is merely the end of the first chapter and the beginning of the second, more interesting one. The work now begins. Kenji does not sigh in frustration. He kneels. This is his first act, a gesture of profound respect for the broken object and its history. He does not sweep the pieces away in haste with a rough brush. With the utmost care, like an archaeologist gathering the scattered, sacred bones of a saint, he collects every single piece. He understands a fundamental truth of this art. To be whole again, nothing that is part of the original can be left behind. He even gathers the tiniest, almost invisible slivers and the fine ceramic dust with a soft, fine brush made of bird feathers. They too are part of the bowl's body, part of its story, and they will be incorporated into its healing. He wraps the fragments in soft, protective silk cloth and takes them to his workbench. He lays them out on a dark cloth, examining the sharp, clean lines of fracture. He is a general, studying the map of a battlefield. He is a detective, reading the clues of the object's fall. He does not see chaos. He sees a puzzle given to him by fate. He sees a new, more interesting story waiting to be told. The first step on the long, patient road to healing is not with gold, but with a humble, dark, and demanding natural substance. Kenji carefully, meticulously cleanse each sharp, fractured edge of the ceramic pieces, preparing them for their reunion. He does not use a modern, fast-drying chemical glue that would offer a quick, strong, but ultimately dishonest and soulless fix. His chosen medium is urushi, a traditional, all-natural lacquer made from the sap of the Toxicodendron verniciflum tree, a relative of poison ivy found in East Asia. The art of using urushi is a craft that is thousands of years old. It is a living substance, difficult and demanding, and it commands respect. In its raw, liquid form, it is a toxic irritant to the skin. Only master craftsmen who have built up a tolerance over many years can handle it with their bare hands. And it works in a paradoxical, almost mystical way. It does not dry in the open air. In fact, it will remain sticky for months, even years, if left exposed. It cures, hardening only in a warm, humid environment, a process that requires a deep, intuitive understanding of its nature. Urushi teaches patience from the very first touch. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced. Kenji now prepares the binding agent. He mixes the raw urushi with fine clay powder to create a paste known as sabi urushi. He applies a thin, almost invisible layer of this paste to the broken edges of two corresponding pieces. He fits them together with the precision of a surgeon aligning bone. The fit must be perfect, a seamless reunion. He then binds them tightly with string or tape to hold them in their gentle, healing embrace. And then, the most difficult part of the process for a modern mind to comprehend, he waits. This is a part of the process that cannot be rushed. A profound lesson in letting go of control and trusting in a natural, invisible process. The reassembled bowl, now a fragile, scarred patchwork of its former self, is placed gently inside a wooden cabinet called a muro. The muro is a womb for the broken object, a humidicrib where the air is kept warm and moist. In this warm, dark, quiet space, protected from the outside world, the urushi lacquer begins its slow, miraculous transformation. The molecules of the sap begin to cross-link, to polymerize, to harden. This can take many weeks, sometimes even months, depending on the thickness of the application and the season of the year. Outside the muro, the seasons may change. The world may rush on. But inside, there is only the slow, patient work of healing. After this long period of curing, Kenji removes the bowl from the muro. It is whole again. It is structurally sound, the urushi having formed a bond that is incredibly strong, sometimes even stronger than the original ceramic. But it is scarred. The lines where the cracks once were are now dark, rough, and ugly. The story of its trauma is visible, but it is not yet beautiful. Now, the second great act of patience begins. The transformation of the scar from a mark of shame into a line of beauty. This is the moment that gives Kintsugi its name. Kenji prepares a new fine batch of red or black lacquer, which will serve as a primer for the gold. Then, using a makizutsu, a small bamboo tube, and an impossibly fine, delicate brush made from the single hair of a cat or a mouse, he carefully, meticulously paints over each and every scar. His hand must be perfectly steady. His breath must be controlled. His mind must be in a state of mushin, or no mind, a state of pure, effortless focus. He is not just covering the crack. He is tracing it with reverence. He is honoring it. He is drawing attention to the very line of its breakage. It is a meditative act of calligraphy, using lacquer instead of ink. And while this fine line of red lacquer is still wet and sticky, he performs the final, magical, and most famous act of adornment. He takes a small, soft silk puff, called a mawata. He dips it into a small, precious ceramic pot containing pure, finely powdered gold, as fine as morning mist. Then, with a gentle, tapping, almost reverent motion, he dusts the gold over the wet lacquer lines. The gold, as fine as air, clings to the sticky lacquer, and only to the lacquer, instantly transforming the dark scar into a shimmering, precious coat. This step must be done with absolute focus, in a room free from any drafts, a room where even the artist's own breath is held. For the precious gold powder is as light and fleeting as a thought. He is, in a very real sense, gilding the pain. He is making the evidence of suffering beautiful. He lets this golden lacquer dry completely. Then, with another piece of soft, clean silk, he begins the final polish. He gently, patiently, wipes away all the excess gold powder. And in that moment of unveiling, as the loose gold is brushed away, a quiet miracle is revealed. The ugly scars are gone. In their place are magnificent, shimmering veins of pure gold that seem to pulse with a gentle, internal light. The lines of breakage are not hidden. They are now, without question, the most beautiful and compelling part of the object. The gold does not pretend the damage never happened. It celebrates it. It honors the journey. The bowl has been reborn. Kenji holds the finished bowl in his hands. He turns it slowly in the light. The golden lines catch the light, telling a story. They speak of the shock of the fall, the tragedy of the breakage, the long, patient period of healing in the darkness, and the final, beautiful transformation. The bowl now has a history, a character, a soul that a perfect, mass-produced, unbroken bowl could never possess. Its scars are now its strength and its beauty. This is a physical manifestation of the deep-seated Japanese philosophy of Wabi-sabi, the profound, quiet beauty found in things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. The art of Kintsugi is more than just a craft. It is a philosophy for life. It teaches us that our own scars, our own emotional wounds, our own histories of breakage and repair are not things to be hidden in shame. They are proof that we have lived, that we have suffered, and that we have had the strength to heal. They are the golden veins that tell the story of who we are. And like the humble tea bowl, they can become the most beautiful, the most resilient, and the most interesting part of us.